folks. It's What's Your Favorite Movie? Your favorite movie podcast. How you doing? My name is Ed South. Joining me on location today, we're not in the normal WYFM studios. We are at a remote location with Matt and Todd from the, do we call it a new podcast? It's relatively new in the grand scheme of things. No, it's not.
We started it about 4 months ago, so I think
newish. We're going to go with new.
Yeah.
The new podcast, Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. Matt and Todd, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks for having us.
Matt and Todd have both been here before on separate locations. Matt back in episode 16 when we talked about The Jerk and Freedom Writers. You still like the Freedom Writers?
Yeah. I haven't seen that in a while.
I still have not seen it, as I said I would. And Todd was here on episode 33, which has poor audio quality, and I apologize to Todd for that. Apologies accepted.
Oh, it is. Very accepted.
And Todd and I talked about Superman 1 and 2 and Last of the Mohicans. Still at the top of your list?
Still at the top. Hasn't changed.
I know Cats is trying to scratch its way to the top of your list.
Oh, it's trying real hard, but I don't think I'm going to let it.
So, Matt and Todd have a podcast, and if you can tell by the title, they go to the movies. So tell the audience about Matt and Todd Go to the Movies. What's this podcast all about? What makes it better than this podcast?
Well, it couldn't be better than this podcast, but it's a little different thrust. I mean, it's really Todd's idea to sort of watch movies and do like quick react to the movies afterwards. So, you know, if you want to explain our process.
Yeah, we just go see a movie. We have their Regal Cinema Pass, which is only $21 a month, and we're still hoping for a sponsorship at some point.
Regal,
But
if you're listening to Ed's podcast.
They're not.
Yeah, so we see a movie, and then we record right after the movie from the parking lot in Matt's car.
Live in the parking lot.
Live in the parking lot.
Always Matt's car because he has the best acoustics, or
Yes, we haven't wanted to change acoustics.
fair enough. Fair enough. So your podcast is the movie that's out right now. You guys go see it and talk about it right off the cuff. No overthinking it. No hemming and hawing. No notes. Just this is what we're thinking about right now.
No research. We may not know the actors' names.
Yeah,
That's title of
we
the
might
movie.
give you plenty of wrong information, but we're
How many-
passionate about it.
How many episodes have you guys done so far? Do you know? Or if you've done 4 months, so that would put us at like 16 or 17. But
I think we're at like
Yeah,
35.
we're in the 30s,
what?
I
Yeah.
Is it every week?
think.
It's
more than
usually
that, most of the
twice a
time.
week.
You guys are at 35 after 4 months. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm at episode 57. But it's all good.
Ours are really short. They're
Yeah.
like 5 to 15 minutes.
And where is it available? Is it on the Google?
It's on the Google, it's on the Apple, it's on all the major outlets. I think you can find it.
Yep.
Excellent. And what was your latest or upcoming episode? Now I listened last time you guys did the rhythm section.
That's right.
That's a bad name for a movie unless it's about drums, is my opinion. And even if it was about drums, that's not a great idea for a movie.
There's sort of a minor tie-in to drums, which comes to
okay,
mind.
now
but-
I'm interested. I love drum movies.
It's really a stretch. They shouldn't have called it the rhythm section.
Todd, what do you think the
Agreed.
best drum movie is of all time?
Ooh, what's it called?
Drumline.
Drumline.
No,
That's what I was
no,
going to say. That's all I
no.
could think of.
Whiplash.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Great
an
movie.
actual good movie. Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Whiplash. I can't think of any others.
Yeah.
Folks, if you know any other good drum movies, let us know. So, Matt and Todd are here not only to peddle their wares of podcast goodness, but also we're going to talk about the Academy Awards. So, you guys have this Regal Cinema Pass, which I don't think everyone's familiar with. This is different than... Wasn't there another one before that went out of business?
Oh, yeah.
Movie Pass.
There's been
is
two of
probably-
them.
Oh,
Two-
yeah.
Yeah.
And you've
This
had
is
all...
our third time around for this kind of...
Yep.
So what's this?
feature.
So you pay $21 a month,
Yep.
and you can go to as many movies as you want,
Yep.
as long no restrictions. You can go see Batman opening night.
Yep.
You can go see it 6 times.
Yep.
You can see it back to back.
Yep.
Excellent.
The only thing you can't do is you can't have more than 3 tickets at a time.
So you can't plan out 3. You can't have like 4 movies
You
planned
can't
for the
have
weekend.
4 movies
Right.
tickets.
But
for
as soon
4.
as you walk out of Batman, you can
You
buy
can
a
get-
ticket for the 4th movie of the day.
Right,
To
exactly.
go see Warhorse or whatever it is.
Yes. It's definitely
classic.
Warhorse.
Excellent. So this allows you two gentlemen to go see lots and lots of movies.
Correct.
And I am jealous because where I live, do not have this feature, nor do I have the babysitting apparatus to go see so many films. But that's okay, because as you already know from listening, and you will find out, I don't like to go to a lot of different movies. I like to stay in my lane of high school movies and Smurfs. All right. So, Matt, you have seen 8. Wait, there's how many films?
9.
There was 9 films nominated for Best Picture. You saw 8 of them.
That's right.
Todd's seen all 9.
Saw all 9.
I saw 2. Thank you very much, folks. Which is a high number for me. And Matt, you and your wife were doing the mad dash to see. Well, you had seen them. How many did you see? Okay, let's start that sentence again. Every year for the last couple of years, you and your wife try to watch all 8, 9, 7, depending on what it is that year.
Right.
Some years it's been 10.
Yep.
How many of these had you seen prior to this week of power watching them with your wife?
So, yeah, this is our 3rd year doing that. And I had seen 7, all of them with Todd, prior to seeing them again with my wife.
Excellent.
The only ones that I hadn't seen were the ones that were released in theaters for like a day, and then they went to Netflix, which is The Irishman and Marriage Story.
Yes. So what was the one lone one that you didn't see before?
So ended up not seeing The Irishman at all.
Oh, okay. No, I mean before, without your wife. Or never mind. That's a dumb question. I don't even know where we're going with this. But you guys saw them all together.
We saw them all. Yes.
That's friendship. I saw Jojo Rabbit with my son, and I saw Marriage Story because it was easily accessible preparing for this podcast, so I could say. But I did kind of want to see it. I probably wouldn't have pulled the trigger. It's a drama, and it's over 2 hours.
Yeah.
Todd, perfect movie length in your opinion?
Hour 43.
Hour 43. I like your precise answer. Matt, do you have a...
Yeah, I'd go even shorter, hour and a half.
82 minutes, folks. That's the perfect length. 82 minutes. All right. So let's talk about some of these films, because I ain't done seeing some of them, and maybe people have been hearing about them for the first time. I would imagine prior to the Oscars, a lot of people hadn't heard of Parasite, or had seen that's a sequel to Sight, right? The first movie was just Sight, and then the second one is Parasite. Do you get that? No, never mind. I just looked at Matt like it's a sequel.
First, I was like, "Wait, what? I was not aware of that."
All right, Parasite is a film from Korea,
Yeah.
South Korea,
That's right.
directed by Bong Joon-ho, and he won Best Director, didn't he?
He won Best Director. And
Where did
he
I?
was-
Oh yeah, we have the cheat sheet here. Yes, he won Best Director.
He was also co-credit for Best Original Screenplay.
Yes, beat out something else. Did you like Parasite? Give us a little recap of Parasite, Todd.
Oh,
Matt's
gosh.
drinking.
Oh, man. Okay, Matt typically does the movie synopsis, but
I'm ready
I'll
now.
give
I
it-
can do it if
He
you
has
I'll
want.
give it a
drink.
shot. I want to go for it.
Do it
All right, Parasite.
in Korean, though, please.
Parasite is a movie about a family that are kind of loners, and they kind of live off of other people's kindness. And they basically latch themselves onto this wealthy family, and each kind of wiggle their way into their lives by either being a tutor, a driver, or a nanny, or a kind of chef nanny person in the house. And through that, they kind of etch out the people who are already there, and then at a strong turn, craziness ensues.
Did he get it right, Matt?
Yeah, sounds good. I want to see that movie.
It's a story of class warfare, is it, or class struggles?
I would say
Class
that's
something?
that's definitely a theme of
A
this
theme?
movie.
A
Is class versus class, the rich versus the poor.
Class versus Class,
Yep.
starring Kid and Play. I saw that years
Yep.
ago. You've gone on record as saying that was your favorite of all the films this year, of the 9 films nominated. Do you stand by that?
That I've seen, yes, and I'm confident that number 9, The Irishman, would not take the place of the Parasite movie.
Did you guys do this on your show? Did you
We did.
watch it after? Did it blow you away? Were you not expecting? Did you see this before it kind of blew up, or when it first came out and it was just kind of making the rounds?
I think it was when it was first making the rounds. I don't think it had gotten wide acclaim yet, but we both had seen or read an article that made us very interested in it. So we were both on the same mindset of we definitely want to see this movie.
Yeah, we did. We had heard some buzz about it.
Yeah.
And so we were like, let's check it
The
out.
buzz was buzzing.
Yeah.
The buzz was a buzzing. I saw the trailer for this before some art house film my son dragged me to. And I was like, yeah, okay, that looks all right. Because he was like, I want to see this. And then at the end, they kind of hint at some terror at the end, and I'm good. I'm good. But you think I can handle it?
I think you could. It's very sort of Tarantino-esque in its
Over the top?
black humor, kind of what's going on, violence, gratuitousness, and all that stuff.
If folks remember correctly, I need... instead of like a movie rating, I need a head trauma rating. I don't like things happening to heads. Was there?
Maybe
there's
maybe
a pretty
this,
big
this
head
isn't for you.
trauma movie for you.
I don't like the head trauma.
There's a couple head traumas actually.
Couple of head traumas. Like the rating should just be HT7 or something like that.
This is HT2, but they're big too.
Big two. Okay, so I'm gonna still stay away
away.
Yeah.
from Parasite. 1917 is a war movie directed by Sam Mendes, who did the last couple of 007 movies. And right? Yes. And this is James Bond in the war. Is that what this is? I'm just going to make funny plots for each movie. 1917. Give us the rundown on that briefly. I don't even know what it's about. Is it a true story?
I don't think it's based on a true story. I think it's based on someone telling stories to their grandson.
Inspired by a true story. It's about World War One.
It's about World War One. As you can tell from the title, 1917.
Okay.
That's during World War One, and it refers to when the movie takes place.
But here's my beef before we get into that. I'm not like a big history person, but is that okay, so it's a fictional story, so like you can't name a movie the year unless it's like a definitive event of the year. Does it unless it's about like a calendar factory, but you can't right? Is it the definitive?
Strangely enough, Ed, this is about a calendar factory.
Oh no.
No, just kidding. I agree with you. It's a dumb name.
It's a weird title, yeah. Like, why wasn't it called what would be a better title since you saw
better
it?
title would be
The
Brothers in Arms.
There you go, which I think is a thing.
I would have gone for The Long Road.
Yeah.
The Long Road. And it's all made to look like one shot.
It is. We saw this thing because we go to so many movies. You get there early and you get the little.
You get the little
You get
thing.
the
yeah.
Maria Menounos.
I was going to
Yes.
ask you, is it the Maria Menounos one?
It is
Yes.
Nuvi.
Nuvi.
We got to see this how they
Which
shot.
have you
this
ever
thing.
noticed? Not to interrupt you. If you go see a G or PG rated movie, she's dressed more conservatively than if you go to a PG-13 or R movie.
I have not noticed that.
I have noticed that. Continue.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this movie. Well, the plot of the movie is this guy and his friend who are in the English army. I guess they're in Germany. Yeah.
I think so.
Or they're.
So they're somewhere in the
I think they're in France.
In a
actually.
war place.
Yeah, they're in a war
Oh, they
place.
are in France,
They're in
right.
France, and they get brought into the general, and the general's like, "Hey, you got to take this message over to these other people that we have no contact with. You got to cross enemy lines and all this stuff to get there. Oh, by the way, your brother is in it's a little Saving Private Ryan. Your brother's in this thing, and you got to do stuff." But anyway, you got to get this message to this other regiment, and
Saving Private Ryan was a good title.
yeah, correct.
Sorry.
Anyway, but the whole thing is about this journey of this pair of guys as they travel across France, and
So it takes place in real time, also,
yes,
Right. That's
Yes.
pretty cool.
it is cool.
So when I saw the trailer recently, I noticed they're in an office or a bunker, and then later they're outside in the war. So the movie follows them out of the bunker into the war.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is
Excellent.
set up as one continuous shot. There's no cutaways or anything. It's just straight.
Yeah.
You are following these two people. on
Very
this journey.
cool, like Alfred Hitchcock's Rope, right?
Yeah, just like that.
On your guys' podcast, you have a rating system that instead of 5 stars, it's for each individual film gets its own thing. But you don't even remember what was 1917. How many?
How many Kaiser helmets? I think.
It was yes.
How many Kaiser helmets? So how many Kaiser helmets does 1917 get? And it would get one extra one if it had a better title.
It would. Yeah, I would say I would give it 3.5 today.
3.5 Kaiser helmets. Todd?
I think I'm still close to 4, even though I haven't seen it. I've only seen it once.
Out of 5.
You've got more fresh eyes on it. But yeah.
I saw it the second time, and the second time I found it very boring at the beginning. Because I already knew what happened, and this movie is really about the story of how you get from here to there. Well, if you already know the story, then it's just like, here's a guy walking through bad stuff, and you know what's going to happen. So,
You know what a really good war movie is from the past couple of years? Sergeant Stubby. Did you see that? You did see that.
I'll take your word for it.
You saw it?
I didn't see it.
Yes,
no.
you did. Okay. Sergeant Stubby with the cartoon about the dog. You told me you took your daughter to it.
Okay.
It was that good.
It was that memorable that I forgot.
All right, so that's 1917. Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in ... Hollywood. This is about Charlie Manson. Yes?
Kind of.
Is he in it?
He
I mean,
is.
not really him, but who plays Charles Manson? Zac Efron?
I don't
No
even
one
know.
of note.
Oh, no one of note. Okay.
He's only in like
He's
one
not a character.
scene.
Yeah.
Sorry
okay.
if we offended you if you're listening to this podcast.
Who? Charlie
Guy who
Manson?
played Charlie Manson.
So you got your Brad Pitt here, right? Who else is in it? Chris
Leo.
Pratt. Leonardo DiCaprio. Weren't they all nominated? Yep. Leo was nominated, and Brad won for Best Actor.
Bad one.
Best,
And
best supporting.
Fair enough.
what's her face?
Margot.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's in
Margot
it.
something.
And
Robbie.
Robbie.
Margot Robbie. Harley Quinn.
We got there.
Tanya. I find it interesting as a social commentary that Quentin Tarantino uses the same actors in a lot of his movies, but the females change. He's got to have the younger female.
Typically, I don't think the girls have a good experience when they film with...
Oh, you don't think they want to come back?
No, there's like a famous story now of how Uma Thurman got hurt filming Kill Bill 2, doing a stunt that she protested against, and Quentin was like, get in there and do that. And it's like, have either of you seen the movie? It's when she's driving the car in the beginning. So she's actually driving that car doing that monologue, and there's a scene where she crashed basically and messed up her knee, and she didn't feel safe doing it, and she kind of was forced to do it. So I'm not the biggest fan of Tarantino. I don't think he's a good person in real life. So
But have you seen all 9 of his films?
yes, I have.
I saw Kill Bill 1 and 2, and I saw Reservoir Dogs a long time ago. And maybe that's all. And 4 Rooms. Are you familiar with 4 Rooms?
I am. He directed The Fourth Room.
The Fourth Room, yes. With the knife and Bruce Willis and all that good stuff.
The
all
lighter,
right.
yeah.
So, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Matt, did you like it?
It was a really slow build.
How long is that? I had all the times of how long all these movies were, but that's like 2.5 hours.
It's definitely over 2 hours. That's for sure.
Yeah. It felt long. It was long building up to a furious conclusion. I didn't think it was bad at any point, but it was really slow.
Was the conclusion furious but also fast?
It was fast and furious, but Vin Diesel was not there.
Oh, Vin. You think Vin Diesel will ever do a Quentin Tarantino movie? What is it about Quentin Tarantino that it gets everybody so worked up? I mean, I know Pulp Fiction was like life-changing for people.
I think it's his long jaw.
Maybe.
He's got a really long jaw.
And what's the thing I hear about him and feet? He likes women's feet or something, and that comes out in the movies? Or are there lots of shots of Black Widow, or what's her name? Not Black Widow. Harley Quinn's feet?
There are
There
shots.
are actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, apparently he's got something
She
about
like
feet.
she's in a movie theater and she kicks off her shoes and like puts her feet up at some point, right?
And they're dirty. The bottoms of her feet are dirty.
He likes dirty feet.
He's into something there. Quentin. Oh, well. Would you recommend this to someone who does not... What's the head trauma count like?
No, there's some. Yeah,
There's
that's
some,
a head.
So
there's,
much head trauma.
there's even a heavier head trauma. I feel like
Yeah.
there's like.
Oh, yeah.
1917 head trauma. I'm going to turn this into a head trauma podcast, I think, and just talk about...
I don't remember. You have fresher eyes, but I don't remember head trauma.
Not a lot of head trauma.
Certainly
more.
other
It's just
war
getting shooting.
aspects of violence.
But heads stay fairly intact in this one.
Oh, that's good. But again, 1917 isn't defined it's not even defined by World War One. World War One went on for years, right?
Yeah.
I
don't know the exact dates of World War One.
If you were doing a movie about 9/11, you could call it 2001, although you couldn't because we already have a movie called 2001, so never
Well, you
mind.
could call it 2001 A Terrorist Odyssey
There
or
you
something
go.
like that
Yes.
to differentiate
Gotcha.
it from the Space Odyssey.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a Quentin Tarantino joint. What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino film, Todd? Do you have one, or are they all just there?
They're all just kind of there for me, I think.
But Four Rooms.
That's true.
What's
Four
up?
Rooms has him.
Oh, I saw
Kind of the same thing with Sin City when he helped direct.
That's right, yes.
That part of Sin City. So
I
I'm going to say Sin City.
Grindhouse, which he did half of that too. I only go see when he does
That's
half
true.
of a movie.
He did Death Proof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm not asking you your favorite Quentin movie, Matt.
Fair enough. I'm not answering then.
What's your favorite war movie about a cartoon dog? Do you have one offhand? All right. Next on our list is Jojo Rabbit, which I did see, and it is I can even say what this one's about, but it's your guys' plug in your podcast. You guys saw this on your show,
Yes.
and you liked it. You had some beef
Yes.
with it, didn't you?
I don't. When I first saw it, I thought there was a little bit too much Nazi rah 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 in it.
Like
Like,
pro-Nazi?
yes,
Okay.
That's not a theme of the movie,
Right.
But at the beginning of the movie, that is there and it's in your face quite a bit,
Right.
And that turned me off a little bit the first time I saw it.
Fair enough.
The second time, I think I liked it more than the first time.
It is directed by Taika Waititi. I don't know how to say his name.
Good enough.
Anyone else want to take
Taika Waititi, I
something
think.
like that? And he plays Hitler in it, and he's a wacky Hitler.
He is.
I thought the first half was wacky, and then the second half was kind of pedestrian, like it was kind of stuff I've seen before about hiding somebody during the war and all that. It was still good, but it just started off out of the gate really gung-ho, and then it kind of tapered off. How many Hitler mustaches did you get in that movie?
I think that's what we actually used.
I think it was Hitler Youth.
Possibly.
It kind of starts off like wacky Hitler camp, like like summer camp for Nazis, and then
Yep.
it divulges into kid hiding. There's been movies about people hiding people during the war. Obviously, most notably Anne Frank, I guess, but there's other movies like that. But it was wacky, it was good, and it won for what? We said that earlier, didn't
Best
we?
adapted.
Best
screenplay?
adapted screenplay. Yes, his mother gave him the book, and he wrote a thing about it. For my money, they should give Star Wars to him, and he should do a Star Wars installment.
Aren't they doing that?
I don't know. I think they were recording
about
him for it. He's the robot he voices the robot dude in The Mandalorian.
Okay.
And then he directed an episode. Did you watch Mandalorian,
I
Todd?
did. I saw
It
all
was
of it.
excellent, I thought.
It was pretty good.
That was pretty good. And they need to give, what's his name? Who did Mandalorian? Jon Favreau?
Favreau.
Is it John?
Jon Favreau,
Jon.
yeah.
They need to give him a Star Wars too. All right,
Well,
so
didn't
that,
they technically do that?
well,
with
that's
the
true, but a movie. They need to give him a
Oh,
movie,
okay.
or they can just keep making Mandalorian. So that's Jojo Rabbit. I think all of these so far are out on video for people to watch. I say video still, but nobody rents videos. But they're all available.
People Redbox, you don't know.
Redbox, Amazon, your local Blockbuster if you have one.
Oh, R.I.P.
Next we have Marriage Story nominated for Best Picture. This had a very limited run. I don't think it played anywhere around here. Not that we saw. But it popped up on the Netflix very shortly after. And this is a story about a marriage that falls apart. But does it fall apart in the movie? I feel like it's already fallen apart when the movie starts. And they kind of flash back a little bit. But they don't spend too much time on it actually falling apart. Agree? Agree? to
Agree.
disagree?
I agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
What'd you think of it, Matt?
It was hard to watch. I didn't think it was a bad movie. It just is really depressing, and it's about a marriage failing, and I'm in a marriage, and I don't want it to fail.
Fair enough.
So just like watching the machinations of like
What's
them
that
getting
word?
machinations.
Wow, okay. I make funnies while I do my podcast, Matt.
It's all good. Just watching them kind of fall apart
Right.
and try and figure out like the custody of their kid, and it's hard to watch.
It's grueling at times.
I liked the movie. I liked the ending especially, but it was hard to get to the end for me.
Give away the ending. No, don't give.
Okay.
What did you think, Todd? I meant to ask you before we recorded if it was okay to touch on this, but
Sure, yeah.
You-
This
yeah.
movie, absolutely. I mean, I remember I texted Matt right after I watched it, and I was like, "You really need to see this," because I am divorced and have gone through that process, and I felt like
fairly recently too.
Fairly
Yeah,
recently.
So the wounds are.
they really captured what it's like to be in that process. I thought it was very realistic to a lot of things that I've experienced.
Aye, yeah.
So
I feel like the whole movie builds to that scene, and now everybody knows about it, the scene in the empty apartment with where he punches the wall eventually. But
Yes.
that was incredible. I mean, for somebody who watches mostly movies about talking dogs and wars and Smurfs and all that stuff, that was insane acting to watch. Just that scene alone. I mean, the whole movie, the acting is good, but that just in that scene alone, I don't know how long it was, maybe 7, 8, 9 minutes, but it really takes you on a ride just in that scene alone where they kind of finally just have it out. They were kind of cordial to each other the whole time. Everybody in that was nominated for an Oscar, almost.
Well, I was telling Matt, we did on one of our episodes, I did like a little mini Marriage Story thing where I talked about it for like, I don't know, 20 seconds or whatever.
That's
But
many.
I was telling him that to me, what really set that movie apart, besides resonating with me, is that every scene, most important scenes are very lengthy, and they
Right.
don't have cutaways or whatever. So there's like these long periods of time where the actors are acting, and
Yeah.
that doesn't happen a whole lot
That's true, yeah.
nowadays. So I was like, that's why. I felt both of them deserved to win. I was like, they did, in my opinion, the most acting
Right.
of anyone nominated.
It was old school acting.
for those movies.
And
for that movie.
I kind of noticed it when I was watching it, and then I read about it later that I was right. Those scenes that you're talking about are all shot very theatrically, and like even the set, like that big scene in the apartment, it's all white. I mean,
Yeah.
And there was another scene, and sometimes when they're at the lawyer's office, like it's a very bare background, like you would see on a stage, and it was good.
Yeah.
What's her name?
ScarJo
was nominated. She didn't win. She lost to Renee Zellweger for Judy. You guys didn't see Judy, did you?
I didn't.
We missed out on that.
But I'm not a fan of Renee Zellweger, so
But Matt and I had a good question. How do you get nominated for Best Actress when you have short hair? I don't understand. Slightly sexist thing to say, but yeah, her hair was a little off-putting, I guess, because we're used to her as what's her name?
Black
Natasha Romanoff.
Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah, where she has pretty hair. Although she chop her hair in one of those too.
yes.
Yeah. Well, we should.
And
be
it's
used
also been curly and straight. It's been all over
she-
the place.
you know,
and blonde.
It was short in Jojo Rabbit as
Black Widow. Really, I didn't think she was that great in Black Widow. I was surprised she got nominated for that. I mean, she was all right, but Laura Dern was nominated for
You mean
Marriage
Jojo
Story.
Rabbit.
Huh?
well. You mean Jojo Rabbit?
Well, yeah. So Scarlett Johansson was nominated for both Marriage Story and Jojo Rabbit.
Right.
I didn't think she was that great in Jojo Rabbit, but Laura Dern was phenomenal in Marriage Story as her lawyer. And you know who I thought was really good, who deserved one, was Alan Alda, was his first lawyer.
Yeah.
He was awesome, and he did not get an Academy Award, and that's sad.
Oh,
God bless Alan Alda, getting
Yeah.
up there in his 80s. All right, let's move on to The Irishman, which is over 3.5 hours long. And as I said earlier, there's not enough duct tape in the world that could get me to sit and watch that. I don't know why I think I need to be duct taped to the sofa to watch it, but Todd, give us your impression of The Irishman.
It's way too long. It's so.
I would go
very
in
long.
the whole movie. I'd be like, you could cut this, take
Yeah.
this out, do this.
That is
do-
what I did when I watched the movie. But it's interesting. It's so. The movie is about the guy, and I don't know if this is based off. I think it's based off of a book, but I don't know if the book is based off of an actual telling of the story or whatever. So the movie is about the guy who supposedly killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Fair enough.
And so it's about his life in the mob and stuff like that. Then he meets Jimmy, and they become friends, and then you can take it pretty much from there.
And it happens very slowly.
Very slowly, and the biggest distracting thing about it is that all the de-aging stuff. I mean, sure, Robert De Niro looked like he was in his 30s at times in the movies, but he still walked and acted like he was in his 80s. So it was very
For those of you
distracting.
that don't know, they use like computer technology to make them look younger instead of like just doing makeup, or I guess it was maybe a half and
like
half
a digital
makeup.
something. Yeah.
Right. It's like the way they made the cats furry in Cats.
We don't need to talk about Cats anymore.
No, it's done. It's over with. And Matt, you were going to watch it, but you were sick, and 3.5 hour drama wasn't on the cards.
Correct. Yep. It sort of fell off, and we didn't make our finish line.
Do you think you will watch it at some point to complete the set, or at this point, who cares?
Based on all I've heard about it, I don't have any interest in watching it at this point.
Yes. All right, that's The Irishman, folks. That's on Netflix. Little Women. I would like to see this. I like Little Women. I don't know what that means. I've seen other adaptations of Little Women. I like Little Women. I like Big Women. That's the sequel coming out next year. And I think everybody has a good idea of what Little Women is about. Did you guys like this movie? This isn't something that you would normally watch on your own kind of a thing, is it?
Me, no.
No, yes.
Maybe Matt, I think.
I might watch it, but for our podcast, we're willing to watch anything.
Yes, true. Is there anything that comes out in the theater that you guys are like, no, we're good, we don't need to watch that, or you try to hit everything?
No, that was Cats, and we ended up still watching it. So,
Yeah.
Oh, Cats you passed on,
like
but you ended up there.
I remember telling Matt, I was like, Cats is kind of like the movie that I do not want to see. And we went to the movies on a Saturday night, and we tried to get tickets for 3 movies.
Oh my gosh.
But it was like sold out, or we couldn't get a thing, and then we settled on Cats because we were like, well, we still need to put out an episode.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What a mistake.
You guys are troopers. So, Little Women, whatever. We don't need to talk about it. Do you think Greta Gerwig was snubbed for an Oscar for directing it? Or we're just upset that there's no women were yeah, it's hard. I don't know how you can tell if someone directed a movie good or not. I mean, just if the movie turns out good, it's good, and
right.
Whatever. I don't know how.
And I think my complaint about this movie is sort of based on the direction, which is that they flip back and forth through 2 time periods, and it's really confusing because the actresses look the same,
right?
And it's like, well, are we in the future present, or the present, or
it's about time travel? I didn't.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
No.
And they are little.
Little Women's a sci-fi book, in case you
another movie I did not see, Batman 17, Joker. Tell us about Joker. It is like number 17, I think, of the Batman movies. We're getting up there. We're getting up there. And it's nominated for an Oscar. Whoever thought a Batman movie would be nominated? I know he's not in it, but did you like the Joker? Todd,
you haven't seen the movie, so you don't know that he's not in it.
Well, I have the internet. I verified it on there. I know Bruce Wayne's in it.
Okay.
Or his parents, yeah. Todd, you're a big comic book fan, as we have established in the past. What'd you think? Did it live up to the hype, the promise of a serious Batman movie?
I wasn't a fan.
And when are we going to get a movie about when are we going to get you think they'll do like a Riddler movie now? Is the Riddler going to have a backstory? Aren't all superhero villains have a very similar backstory? They just, something happened that made them snap.
I think everything is on the table now.
Right.
Thanks to the day and age we live in.
I want a Penguin movie. Or who would be?
Or do you want Danny DeVito to come back? As
yes, Oswald Copperpot, by all means. Especially if we get Michelle Pfeiffer back as Catwoman. It's all good. We're running out of time. Let's hit Ford v Ferrari, which I'm pretty sure just exists to get an Oscar nomination. How was Ford v Ferrari?
It was a good movie. It was a big Hollywood movie with big actors and really good suspenseful, kept you on the edge of your seat a lot. And
it's based on a true story?
Yes.
And it's about the guy that invented the Ford? John Ford?
It's about Henry Ford II is in it.
Okay.
Which is the...
Matt Damon?
Son?
No.
No?
Matt Damon plays Carroll Shelby.
Look at you with the names.
In this movie, and he's basically an ex-race car driver who now builds race cars because he can't drive anymore. He's got a heart problem.
And where does John Ferrari fit in?
John Enzio. What's his? Is it Enzio Ferrari?
I think it's Enzio
Okay.
Far, yeah, you know.
So he is the rival. Basically, it comes down to this famous race called Le Mans, where they race for 24 straight
Oh, I know
hours.
Le Mans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And no one has ever really beaten Ferrari. Ferrari's been unchallenged, except for Carroll Shelby won at one time. But the idea is Ford wants to get into racing, and so they go after this race and end up. That's the premise of the movie.
So it's good stuff.
It is. It's pretty good.
How many tires did you get it? How many stick shifts did you get it?
Ford Mustangs, I believe, was that one.
Ford Mustangs.
Yeah.
It looks similar to another movie that I've seen a trailer for, but I don't think it came out, where it was like they're trying to like race light bulbs or something with Thomas Edison. And
Oh, that's right.
It did come out.
did it? What is
but
that
it
called?
Did not last time.
No.
The,
Light bulbs?
Something plan
Tesla?
or
Edison v.
Tesla.
General Electric. All right. We have some other things on our notes, but we only have a few minutes left, so I think we want to jump down to game. on our notes,
yes.
as everybody tunes in to What's Your Favorite Movie for a rousing, and I call them games, and they're just simple, stupid trivia questions, but whatever. But this
Still a
game,
game.
Bring
you
it
guys
on.
will be the first team to play together, so you can work together, think out loud if you
okay.
want. But this game is called Never Have I Ever Oscar Edition.
Oh,
So we're going to
okay.
see which of these films do not have Oscars. See how I timed it, themed it?
I see.
All right. So you guys can play at home, of course, but as always, no wagering. Now, everybody said Eddie Murphy was snubbed for his role in Dolomite Is My Name. Did you see the Dolomite?
I
Is
did,
My
yes.
Name? I thought it was pretty good.
yeah.
I don't know that he needs an Oscar for it, but it
That's
was,
my thought
it was
exactly,
pretty good.
but-
It was no Shrek, but which of these 5 Eddie Murphy movies does not have an Oscar nomination or win? Are you ready? 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, Coming to America, The Nutty Professor, or Norbit? Which one does not have an Oscar? And you can work out loud amongst yourselves as you want.
I'm going with Norbit.
Norbit.
Yeah. I think we're pretty confident.
Norbit is famously a nominee for Best Makeup. Yes,
Oh.
it is called Oscar-winning film Norbit. Right. 48 Hours is the only one of those that does not have an Oscar nomination. You would think all of them would not have an Oscar nomination, but 48 Hours, nothing. Beverly Hills Cop, Best Original Screenplay. Coming to America, Costume and Makeup. Nutty Professor won
Costume
Best
and Makeup.
for Coming to America.
Coming
yeah.
to America?
I don't know. All right, number 2. I
Must
have
not have been challenged.
well, he's got those costumes from like their country, and they've
yeah,
got the
one costume.
one costume. Well, maybe it was a slow year in '89 or whatever that was. All right, so you guys got that one wrong. I got to remember to keep score. I'm
man.
very sorry.
Off to a
All
bad
right.
start.
I don't know what made me land on this question, but only one of these films starring Dolly Parton does not have an Oscar nom or win.
Okay.
9 to 5, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, Steel Magnolias, or Straight Talk. Do you even know what Straight Talk is?
No.
No idea.
That is a romantic comedy with her and James Woods.
Okay.
I feel like
Which one does not have
Best
an Oscar?
Little Whorehouse in Texas, right? Wasn't
I think
with-
that one does.
Really? For what? Could
I don't
it
know.
possibly have an Oscar for?
I don't know. All right, we'll go with that.
Best Little Whorehouse in Texas has a Best Supporting Actor
Son of a-
nomination.
Come on.
Best Supporting Actor for Charles Durning. 9 to 5 was nominated for Best Songs. Steel Magnolias, Supporting Actress Julia Roberts. Straight Talk. No
Man.
award for Straight Talk.
That's what I was
That's my
thinking.
bad. I take
That's all
that
good.
on my shoulders.
All right, here's 5 animated films from before there was a Best Animated Film category. Which one of these was not nominated for anything? The Sword in the Stone, A Boy Named Charlie Brown, South Park, Bigger, Longer, Uncut, The Little Mermaid, or Beavis and Butthead Do America.
God.
All such
I think
fine
it's
films.
Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
I think South Park had
South
that
Park
song.
got the song. Yeah.
South Park does
Remember,
have
it was saying at the Oscars,
Yeah.
blame Canada. Or
Blame
whatever.
Canada, very good, yes. Beavis and Butthead, no Oscars for Beavis and Butthead.
Yay! Woo!
Sword in the Stone score, Charlie Brown score, Little Mermaid song and score, and yes, Blame Canada from South Park. I believe Robin Williams sang it live
Yes. Oh, R.I.P.
on stage. Which of these films were not nominated or won for Best Visual Effects? Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Such a good movie. Ghostbusters. Return to Oz. Terrifying. Deep Impact or Death Becomes Her, starring Goldie Hawn. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Ghostbusters, Return to Oz, Deep Impact, or Death Becomes Her.
Wasn't nominated for what category?
Was not nominated for Best Visual Effects.
My gut reaction is Deep Impact because that was
That is
also
a good gut reaction. Let's
Yeah,
go with
that's
that.
what I would
That
think
is
too.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. See, you would think it would be, but
Yeah.
I guess
Well, that was also the year that Armageddon came
That's
out.
true,
And that was the
Armageddon won.
more,
Armageddon won
more
that year, yeah.
acclaimed one.
But I mean, come on, Return to Oz. They put that pumpkin head on that dude. Whatever. Which of these superhero films did not fly away with an Oscar nom or award? Batman Returns, Spider-Man 2, Black Panther, Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, or Superman Returns?
Oh, it's definitely one of the Superman ones.
I think Superman
Quest
4.
For Peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is a steaming pile of garbage. Yes. That's right. Did not win. The others all had visual effects or more. Black Panther, of course, nominated for Best Picture. Todd, you're a huge Superman fan, and is Quest for Peace horrible in your opinion?
Unfortunately, yes, but I don't blame many people because it was part of that Canon Films
This is true.
thing that fell apart. They lost their budget halfway through. Christopher Reeve,
One of them.
He directed it, or I don't know if he directed it, but he was very heavily involved.
Right?
in
Yeah,
it.
he wanted to.
You could see what he wanted. He wanted like a peaceful, like, let's make a movie about peace.
My favorite part is when he's fighting on another planet and you can see the curtains in the background to make the sky black. Good times. All right.
Mine's when he rebuilds the wall of China with his eyes.
Well, sure. As Supermen are known to do. As of this recording, which of these actors has never been nominated for an Oscar? See, I patted myself for a future replay, if it were rerun. All right, who does not have an Oscar? Matt Damon, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, or James Earl Jones?
who's not nominated or who hasn't won?
Who's never been nominated or won? I don't think any of them have won, but they were nominated. Yes, one of these did win. But Matt Damon, Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, James Earl Jones. Who does not have a gold statue at their home?
I'm going to go Chevy Chase.
Agree or disagree? Final answer?
I'm not saying this is my answer, but at first I thought maybe Dan Aykroyd. But I'm going to back your play. You've been righter so far. So
Dan
I'm gonna
Aykroyd was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Driving Miss Daisy.
Hmm.
Matt Damon won for Good Will Hunting, also nominated for Evictus and the Martian. Bill Murray, Lost in Translation. James Earl Jones, The Great White Hope. Chevy Chase, sadly, never won an Oscar or nominated for an Oscar.
Good
All
stuff.
right, we got one more here.
All right.
That means we're running out of time. That little light on the thing, and I'm unprofessionally trying to turn my page. Here we go. Which of these wonderful female actresses has never been graced with an Academy Award nom or win? Winona Ryder, Mandy Moore, Jennifer Tilly, Queen Latifah, or Halle Berry?
I'm going to go Tilly.
Not Queen Latifah. Did she win?
I feel like
Or
she's...
get
Won or
nominated?
nominated? Jennifer Tilly won, or was nominated for Bullets Over Broadway.
Come on.
Queen Latifah was nominated for Chicago. Halle Berry won for
Yeah, I
Monsters
remember Halle
Ball.
Berry.
Should have been nominated for The Flintstones. Winona Ryder, Little Women and Age of Innocence. Mandy Moore, no Oscar for Dear Sweet Mandy Moore. Although she did sing the Oscar-nominated song from
Whatever that was.
movie with the hair.
Tangled.
All right, Tangled. Right, real quick, guys, where can we find Matt and Todd go to the movies?
You can find it anywhere
Everywhere.
podcasts are found.
Yes. And you guys have not done the stupid social media crap like I do with Facebook and all that junk. You just put it out there and do
Not
it.
yet. We've talked about it, though.
Facebook. You can find this show on Facebook, Twitter at WYF Movie Podcast, Instagram, email at favemoviepodcast at Yahoo. No one ever sends anything there. And we're on Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify. Now on Google Podcasts, Castbox, whatever that is, and Podcast Addict. Well, guys, thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Our pleasure.
We have to go. We're getting kicked out of the studio. But, folks, as always, It's khaki wishes and cookie dreams. So long.